Go backyard later. Hello. Hi, Adventure Kelpies. She likes to prop up there so she can look out the window. All right. Her tail is very funny. It's very long. I mean, everything about her is long. So, I'm going to, we'll just leave her over there for a second, show the big changes that we made to the board today for her button anniversary. So the biggest, most obvious thing is that I've split the board in two. The idea being that hopefully this will allow her kind of better maneuverability around the board and be able to access buttons that maybe she hasn't been pressing quite as much recently. So far she seems unfazed. She's already been using buttons on both sides of the board. She pressed box pretty much immediately, which is right there. And she has pressed a bunch of the buttons over here as well, including play, visit, want, a bunch of things. So I'm actually going to post a video of her using this portion of the board later because she said something about the researchers who came to visit us earlier. And now she's staring out the window. She likes to rest her chin on the sill sometimes. So that's the big change. And the reason why I did that was a lot of other folks who have dogs that have larger boards have started doing this for accessibility. Bunny did it. Shell and Lexi did it recently. I know Joelle and Bastion have done it recently. And so I had kind of been toying with the idea of doing it. And since a lot of other people were doing it, I thought, let's go for it. And see what effect it has on her using these buttons and which buttons she uses and things like that. The other thing that I've done is I added 4 new buttons, 2 practical ones, cold and hot. And those 2 I added first because I think that perhaps she's been pressing snow and sweater a decent amount. And I mean, it's very hot here in Michigan, so I don't think that she knows there's not going to be any snow. And I don't think she wants a sweater. And so I've been thinking that maybe she's referring to those to kind of either request cold or say she's hot or things like that. And so I wanted to add those 2 buttons. And then I added 2 other buttons that are kind of more experimental. One is tomorrow. That's something that I've modeled a lot, and I think she understands insofar as if I say, we're all done with something now, more tomorrow, she knows that it's not going to happen anytime particularly soon, and that usually it's like asleep before that's going to happen, but I'm curious to see if she'll use it or if having the actual button, helps her understanding. But obviously tomorrow's kind of challenging because once you arrive at tomorrow, it becomes today, and then tomorrow is a new day. So we'll see how that all works out. And then the other one is this button, the ha 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 button, which you're going to have to, I think I sound a little insane, but I mean, that is kind of how I laugh. It's hard to force yourself to laugh for a button in a genuine way. But about a month or so ago, Parker came in and I asked her what's up, and she went over to her buttons and she pressed poop in a play bow and kind of looked over her shoulder at me. And some people had suggested she was making a joke or something like that. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of play with the idea of, do dogs have a sense of humor? Do they understand jokes? Do they want to join in when other people are laughing and things like that? So we're going to see. Like I said, this is an experimental button. She's been kind of doing them for long enough that I thought it would be interesting to kind of see what the potential might be. So those are the 4 buttons that I added. So I'm happy to answer any questions that people have about the changes or about Parker's first year using the buttons or anything else. But those are the changes that we made today. Hey, Parker, from my Hannah, who knows hot. Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping that Parker will pick that up. Hi, Shell and Lexi. Now she's chewing on a box. The box I gave her when she asked for it earlier. So she's just sharing that. Yeah, so can I repeat the 4 buttons? The 4 buttons I added are hot and cold, tomorrow, and the ha 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 button. Also, I hope you're enjoying my little doodles. Why the different colors? Great question. So the different colors all refer to different categories. So the yellow are her social buttons. The purple are her subject buttons. Red are her object buttons. I think I lost connection there, but the orange are for places. And then the blue, I forget what the blue is called. Oh, descriptors. So it's got like her emotions and kind of the weather and things like that. Yeah. And the organization of this is based on something called the Fitzgerald key, which is a linguistic kind of organizational tool. And the different colors allow her to kind of get a spatial awareness of where she is on the board. And I've currently added tomorrow here. I might end up moving it, or I might just end up having the orange come out the bottom when I add more for those. But that's sort of how I have it now, just to kind of keep things together. What if this is the start of Parker's comedian career? SNL cast of 2024. I think SNL could use a talking dog. I only now realize how many buttons Parker has. Yeah, she has quite a few. I think now with those 4 I've just added, she has 86. But yeah, we'll see. What am I going to do with ha ha ha? Yeah, so that's an experiment, as I said. So I'm going to try and model it when I'm already laughing or when other people are laughing, or when she does something I think is funny. And we'll see if she uses it. Where did I divide the board? I divided the board so that there were 3 categories on each side. So that she can kind of walk down the middle. And she already has walked down this space and come at the buttons from the middle. So she likes to kind of walk around her board when it was all together. And so I'm hoping that will kind of give her better access to some of these. After Parker got outside, how and when did you introduce outside later? So later and soon and now, I think I introduced all at the same time, if I remember correctly. I introduced all done when she got her first buttons. And I think I probably started verbally modeling those shortly thereafter. She was about 6 months when we first got the buttons. And she was learning how to be alone. She's coming over to say hi. She was learning how to be alone. And so I used soon and later to kind of help model how long I was going to... Tummy what? You want tummy scritches? Oh, okay. She's getting tummy scritches. I think she's directing me where she wants her scritches. Hi, baby. Yes. And so I think that was helpful in her learning to be alone. You know, I would say soon was within 30 minutes. I sort of see I've written 30 minutes and then later is more than 30 minutes. And so that helped kind of her understanding how long I was going to be gone, you know, if it was going to be a short trip or if it was going to be a long trip. I can't remember. I'd have to look at my data. I do have, you know, in my data when exactly I introduced soon and later. I want to say that it probably was in the second round of buttons that I added, and I did add quite a few once I got more buttons, which I probably did maybe 3 weeks or a month after the first ones. I can't quite remember, but I could look at my data and see. She's really enjoying these tummy scritches right now. This is clearly what she wanted. Oh, please demo the ha 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 button for Button Pigs since they missed it and because you want to hear it again. Okay, here's the ha 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 button. I mean, it makes me laugh every time I press it, so there's something. Hi, baby. Yes, more tummy scritches. Has she seen the divided board yet? Reaction. She has. She walked in. She seemed completely unfazed. She walked up to it from the side and pressed the box button. So I was prepared for her to be really thrown off by it, but she seems unfazed. She's already pressed quite a few buttons since I've done it. Yeah, so we'll know if she has a sense of humor. Come, I'm right here. I'm looking. She just wants attention right now, I think. Does she ever look for toys, not find what she looked for, and then ask with the buttons? So her toys, hi baby, her toys live in this basket up there because she is a toy destroyer. And so with the exception of her chews, or if, the occasional toy that she can't destroy, she has to ask for them because it's her only way to get them. So sometimes she'll look up at the basket, and so I know she wants something from there. And I, can ask her, oh, do you want your tug? Do you want your squeaker? Do you want stick? And she'll, wag her tail. Hold on. That was me sliding down onto my butt so I could give her better pets. And so she'll kind of, give me body language to answer my question. But typically she will ask for the specific one she wants with her buttons. She's rolling over onto her buttons right now. Happy Buttonversary. Thank you, Joannosaurus Rex, which is an excellent username. I like the two boards. Yeah, me too. It honestly, the first thing I noticed is that it's easier for me to access the toy basket because I can walk through it instead of having to walk over the buttons now. So I think it's not only going to be kind of easier for her to navigate, but easier for me to navigate. Though now I have to remember which board, which buttons are on. But if she can do it, well, she's better at this than I am. We do Nader Lau verbally, but Haley is not a fan of later. You're sitting on your paw button, lady. She's like, why is my butt saying paw? Yeah, Parker often is not fan of later either. When I would press later, she often would press later soon or later now as a way of saying like, no, let's do this now. But persistence is key. We've had many arguments. Sometimes she wins, sometimes I win. I think nor is Millie. Yeah, I think most animals not a huge fan of later. Some people say that pets don't have a feeling. Yeah, I mean, I think that, one thing that's really, I'm hoping that this study that UCSD is doing will show is kind of that we massively underestimate our pets and kind of their capacity for emotions and for thoughts. And she's making a funny face right now with her ears out like that. Yeah. Her least used buttons. Let's see. Her least used buttons are probably, surprisingly, window. She hardly ever uses the window button, even though she loves to look out the window. I gave her that button early because I thought she would definitely use it. And she really doesn't. She doesn't use bed very much. She actually hasn't, she's started using them more lately, but she hasn't been using many of these buttons because she just uses poop for anything related to being outside these days. And I don't know that she's used agility. I model it when we go to agility, but we only go once a week, and not every week. So I think that's part of it as well. I think those are probably some of her least used buttons. How did I model the word word? Yeah, so there's our word button. Um, and I modeled it by getting down like a bunch of her toys and holding them out to her and saying, you know, word this squeaker, word this chew, and pressing the buttons. And then, you know, saying like, word me Sasha, word you Parker. And so by putting it in a bunch of different contexts, she figured out that word is sort of, you know, I mean, she might even think it's the button. Like, what is the button for this? But I think she acknowledges that, because I also say use your words. But so she's looking for the word. It's something that she doesn't have, or, you know, or if she might try a combination, and if I don't understand, she might insert word. So I did it with things she already had. She knocked out that button. How many times did I record ha 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 before I was satisfied? I only did it once because I think I realized that it was probably only going to sound more bonkers the more times I did it, and that I should just let it go. She's back to chewing her box again. Parker the Destroyer. Yes, she's doing her destruction right now. How did I organize it? Like, how did I decide which buttons to place on the divided tiles? I just split it down the middle between the 3 categories. So I just put 3 colors over here and 3 colors over there. And so I just split it right down the middle just for kind of spatial sake. I didn't really think about it much beyond that, to be honest. What kind of cameras do I use? I use the Wyze cameras. I've had many conversations with people about the cameras. The thing about the Wyze cameras is they do have a lot of background noise, but mine are close enough to the buttons that you can hear them for the most part, I think, in spite of that background noise. And they're inexpensive. They're like $30. And you don't need a subscription. It saves it to an SD card for, I don't know, like 20 days or something like that. There are other cameras that other people use that have much better quality audio and video, but like the Wyze app is really easy to use, and some of those apps are really hard, or you also have to pay for a subscription, and they're way more expensive. They're like $100 at least, plus you're paying a monthly subscription. So for now, until Parker starts making the real big bucks or gets a sponsorship with a camera company, if they want to sponsor us, I think we're going to stick with the cheaper cameras, and hopefully people will just tolerate some background noise as long as they can still hear the buttons. Good pets. Yes, she did seem to like those pets. Anything I learned and wish I did differently when first introducing the buttons? Ours are coming and we're very excited. Oh, awesome. Haley's Forever Home. I'm excited for you to start your button journey. Anything I would have done differently? Well, one thing that I did that I changed really quickly, was I started with a generic toy button. That's what this one used to be. And you can see I changed it to stick. I gave the little teddy bear a flirt pull because stick is flirt pull. And so I did actually change that. So I would have started with toy specific buttons instead of just a generic toy button. And I mean, I did change that. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know if there is anything I would have changed. I mean, I think starting with the buttons all in one place really worked for Parker. I think starting with 6 all at once instead of 1 really worked for Parker. I mean, she really got it right away. But I think, like, you know, it depends on the learner. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I would have done anything. You better be spitting that out, lady. Are you eating that box? Don't eat it. Spit it out. Spit it out. Can you give it to me? She says no. Sorry I didn't finish A Feeling for Time, but that's not right. I have to go back and see what that was in reference to. Oh, some say the pets don't have a feeling for time. Yeah, I've gotten that a lot too. Or like that they're not that specific, that they know the difference between a half hour versus more than a half hour, which is wild when you think about how many dogs, like if you are 5 minutes late with their dinner, will like come harass you. Like they definitely have a concept of time. My fur angel is going on 10. I noticed she is having vision issues. Would this be worth it? I think it's really up to you in terms of, you know, investment in time, but there are definitely older dogs, 10, you know, and older, that have started with the buttons and had success. So there's definitely no age at which it's too old. I also highly recommend, if you're not already following Positive Behaviors, that's PAW, Positive Behaviors. Morgan has a cat, Jasper, who is blind and uses the buttons, and she's created basically a braille system on them. So check her out. She'd be able to give, you know, better advice than me on that, but definitely there are deaf dogs, there are blind dogs, there are deaf and blind dogs, and cats and other learners who, and older learners who are using the buttons. I think it got cut off, but do I think she dislikes the car because, because she has no buttons? No, because she doesn't dislike like the park, and she doesn't dislike, the like daycare and stuff like that. I think she dislikes the car because it moves. I think she just does it. When she was a puppy, she would get really nauseous, which is pretty common, and she would throw up a lot in the car. And so then I think she just began to associate the car with throwing up and feeling sick. And now I think it's all anxiety related. So when we go on longer rides, she gets some meds, and they help her calm down, and then she just snoozes. And so our last road trip when we went to Kansas City, she was totally fine, because she was on the good stuff. Does she ever press the later button for anything else than arguing? I don't think I've seen any talking pet use that one. I don't know. I've definitely seen it. I don't think it was her, but I've seen someone where someone asked their dog if they wanted to do something, and the dog said later. So they were telling their human later. But yeah, mostly she has used it for negotiations and arguing. It would be great if the buttons had a way of inserting actual house pictures to match the words. I don't know what you mean by, like a photo. You could probably, you know, you can put stickers on them, right? So I have stickers on mine, and I'm using, I was using the stickers that came with them. Now I just draw directly on the button itself. But other people have custom made stickers. And so you could definitely get like stickers printed of photos of objects around your house and stuff like that, and put them on the buttons. There's no reason why you couldn't do that, for sure. Sorry if a silly question. Are the drawings on the buttons meant to help you and guess you what the words are? Or does Parker care for drawing? I don't think Parker cares about the drawing. If she does, she might have opinions about my artistic abilities. They're for me and for other people. So she mainly goes to daycare, but at the beginning she was having people stay with her here at the house. When I was gone, she seems to prefer going to daycare, but so, you know, they would be able to find the buttons, and whenever we have visitors and things like that. So the pictures are for the humans. Oh, Siberian Fox says to Flint, Fox uses later. He uses it as a descriptor. He tells us he wants to relax now, play later, or dad relax later. Very cool. Nope, she ran away. I was reading comments. Haley has names for most of her babies. Oh, her toys, yeah. I was wondering if I should have a button for babies or name them. Oh, are her babies her toys, or her babies her actual babies? I think it's up to you. Oh, she found treats that I forgot were up there. You want a treat? You have a treat. Can you sit? You wave? You sit pretty? Good girl. I'm going to put your treats away now. For things that have like multiple names, I think it really depends. So like for Parker with the toy, I found that having a toy button didn't really help me figure out what sort of play she wanted, right? So having the specific names of squeaker, of chew, of stick, of ball, of all of these things was helpful for me in figuring out what she wants to play. But, you know, for people, it's different. So like instead of having buttons for like my mom, my dad, my sibling, everyone in my family, I just have a family button, especially because they don't, you know, live nearby. So it's not like I'm right here, baby. It's not like she sees them all that often. And so I used a family button just as like a catch-all for that, to kind of conserve space and buttons. And because I figured they probably wouldn't get used individually very much, but that a collective family button would get used more. Siberian Fox says we use soon for within a half hour and later for longer than a half hour. Animal word? What animal? Where animal? Is it outside? I'll go have a look, see if there's an animal out there. I don't see anybody. But there are often squirrels and stuff. Oh, she's going to have a look. All right, well, you keep an eye out for animals. So sorry, Siberian Fox says we use soon for within half an hour and later for longer than half an hour. We also have now and tomorrow. Fox can differentiate between those time frames himself accurately. Yeah, so I mean, that's great. That's one of the things that perhaps the study can help identify is, you know, what is the capacity of understanding time that dogs have and other animals have. Hi, baby. I know, you want the human. You want me or you want just another human? The researchers came earlier today. I'm going to post the video later, but maybe like an hour after they left, they were giving her lots of scritches. And so she said she wanted the human visit scritches. Stranger humans all gone. All done. Go by. Yeah, they went by. She's looking at the front door. Do you think they use the sounds of the word over reading the word when pressing the buttons? Yes. Box? Your box is over there. I don't think she can read the words. You know, if there were fewer of them, maybe she could recognize some patterns, but I don't know. I mean, I'll be curious to see what the researchers think, but I don't think she's reading anything. I think she's spatially learning where they are. And then going based on the audio. I will say I have seen a lot of other dogs like sniffing the buttons. And I do wonder if there's sort of like a olfactory thing going on there too. Like a sense of smell that's also helping them figure out what buttons are where with memory. Have my dad in the next live. Next time he's in town, I'll see what I can do. He and my sibling and possibly my sister-in-law are all coming up next month. What breed is Parker? Parker is a Beagle mix. So she's Beagle and American Spitz and Chihuahua and a bunch of other things. But Beagle is her biggest breed. She's like 28.6% Beagle or something like that. Oh, toys. Yeah, so Haley's Forever Home. With toys, I think it's helpful to have toy-specific ones. Hi, baby. To differentiate between what kind of play they want. Hi. Sit Pretty. Well, my dog can do the same thing and we call it the same thing. Yeah, I like Sit Pretty as the name for that. She's sniffing around. Help what? Here I come. Help what? Help what? Hmm? Sweater help? I don't understand that. You definitely don't want a sweater now. This is why I added hot, because I'm not sure why she's pressing sweater a lot. Neighbors tug zoomies. You want to go zoomies in the backyard? All right. Yeah. She gets a little hyped up. We'll see if I hopefully won't lose service while we're back there. I don't think so. I think she really wants to play fetch, but. Okay. Yes, I know. She gets a little excited about going outside. Hi. Go run. Parker is neighborhood watch. She's very nosy. Yeah, see, she wants to play fetch. There was one ambitious chihuahua in Parker's lineage. I think that's right. Okay. I think I answered all of the questions. Now we're just watching her play fetch. She's so noisy when she plays fetch. I think she's going to potty. She's got to find her place, her spot. Oh, she's having a poop. Yeah, I see you. I see you pooping. She's so loud playing. Oh, you made it go too far. She just gets so amped about it. It's her favorite game. And it does tire her out. Poop again, poop always. Thanks for sharing your pup with us. It's Sunday night here in Alara and Tackle. The new week with even 1% of the energy Parker has. Have a good week. She likes to wait until you bend down so she can bark right in your ear. Do we both like the Michigan winters? I think she likes it more than I do. Parker loves the snow. She got to experience snow for the first time last winter, and she loved it. I don't mind the snow so much. I don't love the cold. I'm from California originally, and I still have California blood. It's like she's geolocating the ball with her barking. Is she afraid of fireworks? You know, last year she was only about, 6 months old, and she was not happy about that. She was very scared. But we've had a few of them going off so far the past couple nights, and she's like slept through them and not been fazed by them. She'll like, look up occasionally, like, oh, what was that? But she doesn't seem to be bothered by them anymore. She will do this all day. It's not so hot today, but it's been so hot that for the first time, she has like occasionally quit and said, okay, I'm done. You can tell she's getting tired when she barks less. How did I introduce the stranger button? I introduced stranger at the same time as friend. And so I just introduced them, in tandem. Whenever you can introduce like a coupling of opposites, I think that's really helpful. And so I introduced at the same time as friend. And so I would just distinguish between someone or something new versus something familiar. Does she ever stay there by herself? Hi, Ovi and Mika. Stay where? Like stay at the house? I'll leave her home alone for like a few hours. But, nothing longer than that. If I'm going to be gone like overnight or anything, she goes to daycare. Do you try to replace batteries when a button dies or just return it? I always try and replace the batteries. I think it depends. Like if it... Ooh, what happened to the ball? Where'd the ball go? Did it go under the fence? No, it's in the fence. Go find it. There it is. It gets lodged in the chain link sometimes. Go get it. If the battery's dying like really quickly, like, it's abnormal and there's clearly something malfunctioning with the button, then I write to Fluent Pet and they'll replace it. But if it's, been working totally fine and then all of a sudden, because she's been standing on it a lot or something like that, it dies, then I just replace the batteries. I usually try that first. And if it dies again really shortly thereafter, then I know there's something wrong with the button. You didn't want to go get it? Go get it. Get your ball. Do I know if she tries to talk when she's alone? Two of those. So when she's home alone, does she use her buttons or no, you're not there to talk to? Most of the time, when she was younger, she would use them more often when I wasn't there. Now that she's a bit older, and she's used to being left alone for a couple hours, she mostly doesn't, except if I've been gone longer than she expected me to. So maybe like a month and a half ago, I got caught out for longer. I usually don't leave her alone for more than 4 hours. It was more like 4.5, maybe 4:45. And are you all done? Do you need some water? Yeah, come on, let's go inside. And she used the buttons to try and like conjure me back. So she'll say, like, come, help, things like that, because she's trying to get me to come back. So she will occasionally use them when I'm not there. But less so now because she knows that it usually doesn't work to get me to come back. Sorry, I have to wash my hand because it's covered in dirt from playing fetch. What do I think is the most valuable or helpful button that she has? Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, like any of the buttons, like outside potty, poop, like those are all really useful just to know when she needs to go. She was trained to ring bells at first, and so that was also helpful, just a way to signal to me that's not, you know, whining or anything like that. You can see she's tired now. Good stretch. I think those are really helpful. I think that the body part ones are really helpful as well, both for her to communicate to me if something's wrong or something like that, but also for me to be able to kind of let her know what's going on. I have a video I'm going to post in the next couple of days where we were playing and she got something in her eye. And so I could see she started squinting, and she, you know, because she was in pain, didn't want to come near me. But then I modeled help eye, and I went over to her and she stopped and she let me kind of check out what was going on with her eye. And then I came back and modeled it again with a paper towel with water on it, and to kind of, you know, try and flush out her eye a little bit. And then it seemed to feel better. And after I did that, she pressed water, sort of like acknowledging that I just used water in her eye. So I think the like potential in cooperative care, my vet is like super excited about that. So that I think is ultimately like the potential in that is huge for just kind of giving her better quality of life. Oh, hi, Salby. And I saw Liz earlier. Am I going to upgrade to the new texting buttons? Oh my gosh, yes. I cannot wait. Logging button presses is so time consuming. And the app makes it a lot easier. But not having to log button presses would be amazing. And then she will be able to kind of message me through the buttons. So yeah, I can't wait for that to come out. I think it's maybe going to be in fall. And I absolutely cannot wait to get her the Connect and not have to log button presses anymore. Would she try to use the buttons to communicate with other dogs visiting the home or just the humans? She has used it. I have some older videos of her and her friend Indy where they were playing, and you know, Indy seemed like she was hiding, and so Parker pressed like love you to like re-invite her back in and to tell her that she called Indy family once. If a dog won't play with her, she'll press like chase or play. So she's used the buttons to communicate to her friend Indy, to her friend Jasper, to her cousin Jude, to her cat cousin Scout, who she was very interested in and who was not so interested in her. But yeah, she's never met another dog who also has buttons, but in about a week, we're going on a little trip, and she is going to meet some other button tucking, dogs. So that's going to be exciting. Do I take the buttons to the vet with me? I have not. I haven't so far, but, and she's nervous in the vet, so I wonder if she would use them or not. But it's an interesting question, and maybe worth like bringing, you know, the tile that has like ouch and body parts and stuff like that sometimes. Yeah. What mischievous can she be? She can definitely be mischievous. She, you know, has pulled buttons out of the board and run off with them, especially when she was younger. She doesn't really do that so much anymore. But if she wants attention and she's not getting it, she will steal things she knows she's not supposed to have just to try and get attention. So she can definitely be a sneak. She's also tall when she's on her hind legs, and she can reach the counter. So she can be a bit of a counter surfer as well. Did Indy's owner think of teaching her the buttons? She thought about it. The thing with Indy is that Indy doesn't seem to recognize many words, though that is changing. In fact, it seems that Indy knows Parker's name and does recognize that. So I don't know if maybe she'll think about that more. They're going to be moving kind of soon, and I think in her current apartment, she was struggling to figure out where they would even go. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have to talk to Lindsay and see if I can talk her into doing the buttons once she moves. Has she ever indicated she needed a button word that she didn't have? How do you know when to add a button or a word? Yes, she definitely has. A couple of different ways. One way is by using a word combination that at first doesn't make sense, and then I realize that she's trying to like talk about something in particular. So what would she say? She would say like poop chase, and I didn't know what poop chase meant. But then I realized in the evenings she liked to run zoomies around the backyard, and that would kind of get things moving, and then she'd poop. And so that's what she meant by poop chase. So I introduced the word zoomies after that. Once we had the word, she'll use word. So one time we came home from a walk, and I'd taken off her collar and leash, but this was during winter, and she had her sweater on. And so she walked over to her board and she said, help word. And I said, oh, do you want help with your sweater, taking your sweater off? And she wagged her tail and ran over to me. I mean, some button combinations, I'm just like, I know what that means, and I'm not going to give, oh, lost connection, but I think it's back. So she will press walk food or food walk to refer to the food that she gets on walks, which is treats. So I'm not going to give her a treat button. But I know that's what she means when she presses that. So there are some combinations that I'm fine just using the combination, but there are some combinations where I'm like, oh, it might be useful to give her a word that just directly says that instead of her using this combination. And then other times if she, uses word for something, then I'll try and give her the word for that. Hi from Florida. Hello. Well, she is snoozing, so I can maybe take like one or two more questions, and then we'll probably head out. But I will post this probably on her YouTube. Hi from Canada. Hi, Canada. Hi, Philadelphia. It's so cool. People from all over. How do I feel about more feeling buttons? Oh, hi, Sarah Wilkinson. How do I feel about more feeling buttons? Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about that. I think frustrated is one of the buttons that is on my to add list. She definitely seems frustrated. She'll have like button tantrums. And so I think maybe I wonder if giving her a frustrated button would give her a place to displace that tantrum energy. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's some other one that I was thinking about too, but I'm not sure. Maybe sleepy, but I don't know. Right now she has mad, happy, concerned, okay, and hungry. So yeah, but definitely thinking about adding more feeling buttons. Brazil, Germany, Sweden. I love it. And Oregon, Indiana, another Germany. Very cool. Is she sleeping? Yes, she is asleep now. She's tired out from that fetch. It is the most surefire way to get her to conk out. All right. Well, we're going to head out, but thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.